This is something you could put on your gravestone and people would respect you for centuries to come. And it's simple. It's 3 words.
Thank you for tuning into Lurkers,
The only podcast
where a real-life couple
discusses the internet's top relationship problems.
every week.
We are your hosts,
Lily.
and Rafi.
It's time to get real. The theme of today's episode is sexy time. However, it's a little bit heavier than I think either of us were anticipating. We just kind of went for the top post that had some spice, and they ended up being not so nice.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so both posts are about people pushing fetishes and boundaries and consent. The first one is pretty heavy duty, so trigger warning on the first one. There's timestamps in the description. We are talking about, there's mention of blood, and no specifics, but mention of mild violence in the first one. The second one is pretty lighthearted.
Yeah, pretty lighthearted. I go on a little rant. I pop off. But that's like every episode. So, I hope.
We also have a fun surprise bit in the middle this week. Since we don't have a user submitted question this week, we have a nice little surprise for y'all.
Yes, so thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a good start.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Recording episode 4.
Episode 4 of Lurkers.
Of the Lurkers. Oh, that's exciting. 4 episodes in.
That's a pretty solid start.
That is a pretty solid start. We're more consistent than like most YouTubers at this point, honestly.
That's a fact.
Yeah, we don't know what we have on the plate for the day, or the docket, as they would say. Do they say docket in English?
Docket? I don't know.
Yeah.
The docket.
Well, let's just assume. The docket. So, on the docket today is some relationship advice from Lily and Rafi. Also, is the British accent offensive?
I don't...
Another good question for the audience. Let us know. DM us. You said you don't know?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. What about this French accent? Ha ha ha. Is that offensive?
Oh, oui, mademoiselle, very offensive. I think when it's intentionally awful, it's kind of racist. And it's 2021, so we can't be racist. But, like, French isn't a race, it's a nationality. And so I feel like it's the equivalent of, like, me full leading into my southern accent and just being like, hey, howdy, Bill. How you doing over there, Dawn?
I think it depends on, like, the content of what you're saying, too. Like, if I was like, hello, I have very crooked teeth because I've never heard of dentures or braces, like, that might be...
This is not okay.
That's
offensive. And if I was
a little
like,
offensive.
ha ha ha, oui oui, baguette, mademoiselle, pepe le pew, like, that might be a little racist.
I don't know if that's racist, though. That's like, if we cancel us. If it's racist, cancel us. Get us trending on Twitter.
And now it's time to play.
Is it racist? Okay, that's probably not a bit we want to introduce yet.
That's once we've reached, like, Jake Paul status, and,
no.
we just don't get canceled.
Oh, no. You said the JP word.
The Is It Racist event of the week. I'm sorry. No, we're coming for Logan Paul's neck, though. He has the he has, like, the #1 podcast on the internet.
That is... Yeah, we're coming for him.
Sad.
We're coming for him. That needs to be our goal, is to take Jake Paul down. You hear that, y'all?
Like-
Help us help you by taking Jake Paul's place and just
Facts.
helping society in general. All right, let's jump into the podcast.
Yeah. But Logan, we're coming for your neck, boy.
That being said,
Um.
here's the disclaimer that we don't know what the hell we're talking about. So don't take anything that we're saying as professional advice or even serious advice unless you want to, which that is a choice.
And if that choice blows up in your face, then that's on you. That is 150% on you.
We do have some good mental health resources in the show notes, though. So if you're looking for some genuine advice from a professional, check out the show notes. And just as a reminder, we have no idea what we're going to talk about when we start recording. We record the intro after we record, but we want all of our advice to just be spur of the moment and spontaneous, so that way you get our raw, unfiltered, realistic reactions and opinions. So yes, let's get into it.
Are we jumping into the first one?
Yeah, you wanna read it out for us?
Yeah, I'll do my best to read. All right, so the first topic today was posted by u/throw_ra boyfriend adv. And it was posted 1 day ago, and the title of the post is, "My boyfriend is pressuring me into his fetish." So, my boyfriend, 31 male, and I, 29 female, have less of a traditional relationship. We've been dating almost 3 years now. When we were first talking, he told me about his fetish, and we had an open conversation about it. When we got more serious, he and I decided he should see a professional for his fetish. When we did some research and met a sex worker that was experienced in his fetish and others, I met her a few times, and it's understood that this is a business relationship and my boyfriend is her client. With that scratch being itched for him, our relationship was perfect. Sex was amazing. He's so loving and caring towards me, and I really see myself spending my life with him. Things changed during the pandemic. The sex worker decided for safety reasons, both her and her clients, that she'd stop seeing them in person and only focus on her online content. At first, we were fine, but in December, he got really pushy and tried to persuade and bargain with me into doing his fetish. I can't. It makes me physically ill to where I feel nauseous. I've told him no and that he needs to figure out another way to get himself off. He got upset at me and said that it's impossible unless he has a partner. I've been sleeping in the guest room for the last few nights because he tried initiating it while we were already intimate. I'm setting my boundaries, but it's frustrating. He's not respecting them and no longer respecting because his need to get off in a certain way is more important than my feelings. I kind of want to break up with him over this, but he's been perfect up until this. I'm so lost on what to do. Any advice would be helpful.
Oh.
Yeah. So, first impressions.
Yikes.
I would agree. That gets a big yikes from me.
Yeah. They've been dating almost 3 years. This is scary. The crossing of boundaries is just not okay, but
Yeah, no. And it like really sucks that like they had something worked out.
Yeah.
Like with the sex worker. Like if that really was like working for them, then that's beautiful. But yeah, no, that sucks so much.
yeah, and also given the fact that we don't know when this will be over and this person will resume their sex working activities in person, that is tricky also because boundaries are clearly being crossed.
I don't know. To me, this entire
is not-
situation just seems like it's not so much a boundary as like a fundamental piece of this person.
Yeah.
Like whatever this person, whatever her boyfriend is on right now, whatever his fetish is, like, to the point where in order to be in a healthy relationship, you need to see a sex worker. Like,
I mean, she is okay with it, but the fact that like the relationship is starting to fall apart and he can't respect his partner's boundaries at all. Like, that's a little bit concerning. And, like, I don't
That's
know, like, we don't know what
extremely
this fetish
concerning.
is, but, like, you know, like, it could be something that's traumatic for the OP, or just something that they're not okay with. And the fact that they were okay with this person seeing a sex worker is, like, saying a lot about the strength and, like, maturity of this relationship. And OP seems to be expressing maturity, but boyfriend does not.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is like the last sentence is just so telling to me. Like it's frustrating and his need to get off in a certain way is more important than my feelings. Like yeah, no. That's like a genuine issue. But I feel like the trend of my advice throughout the podcast has been like communication is key and be honest, and that is what I'm going to say once again. Like you got to talk to him and you got to make it clear that right now what it feels like to you is that his desire to have sex is more important than the way that you feel about anything. And like that's a certifiably unhealthy way to go about a relationship and to exist within a relationship. And it's like, do you really want to throw 3 years away of a relationship that has just been great for both of us all because you can't satisfy your fetish with me? Like, what are your thoughts?
I didn't mean to do this, but I glanced down and I saw the top comment, and I feel like this is kind of important and kind of
Yeah.
like
No.
might change the severity of the conversation. So I'm not seeing the comment from OP. It may have gotten removed. OP is interacting with some of the comments, and apparently OP has revealed that the fetish is blood play and knife play.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
No kink shaming. Once again, we don't kink shame on this
I'm not
podcast.
kink shaming, but if that's a boundary, and he's been doing this to her in her sleep.
He's been doing it to her in her sleep?
That's what OP said in the original post. She said that she's told him no and that he needs to figure out another way. He got upset and said it's impossible. She's been sleeping in the guest room because he's tried initiating it. Oh, while they were already intimate. So he's tried, like, just initiating it in the middle of... Yeah, to the point where she doesn't feel comfortable sleeping with him.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's... Because, like, okay, I'll consider myself a prude in this aspect. I don't kink shame, but I do look at actions, and I will say whether they startle me or not. And this is something that startles me. And maybe I'm just a prude, but also maybe I'm just a normal person who doesn't like being cut. And, like, that is, like, a very, very specific fetish. And for you to try and convince someone to let you harm them, which is what you're doing. It's a harming fetish. Like, that is part of that. And, like, you can't force someone into that, just like you can't force someone into BDSM. That's just not okay.
Yeah.
And if she's expressed that she doesn't want to be physically harmed, like, that's something you should just respect, like, no questions asked.
And that's the other thing too. It's like you express a lot of maturity, like knowing this about your boyfriend and being okay with it for 3 years, but the fact that in the absence of a sex worker and him not having that your entire relationship is falling apart just because he can't act on this with you, I think that's a major red flag, especially since you were saying before that you were considering spending your life with this person. Like, if this is something that he literally needs, like, you're basically saying that the entire time that you guys are in a relationship, you will always need this third party, or else these things will happen. And I genuinely think that you should reconsider this relationship.
And, like, I hate that is the advice, but, like, I agree 100%. Like, I don't know. Just the idea that it's harmful and he's trying to force that on you is, like, very scary to me.
Yeah, and
TBH.
I honestly think, not king shaming at all. Like, weird shit, yes, give me that, whatever. But, like, this isn't your PG scat and water play, you know? Like, this is a fetish that glamorizes violence and control and hating women, and does not sound like something that any woman needs or is healthy for her to be around. And it sounds like your significant other is in need of intense therapy, not a sex worker to act as a band-aid.
And if you really are someone who would pressure someone into being harmed, like, I don't think that you can classify that person as loving and caring.
Yeah.
And that's not a judgment of the fetish, that is a judgment of the person.
Can I make one redeeming comment?
Yeah.
If he's just in the blood, like, I would say
Don't
my
say what you're about to
advice
say.
would be
Don't say.
compromise. You know, when
No.
Aunt Flo be coming to town, like, I hope that's a suitable compromise. But if not, get out. Like, girl, run. Like, get your receipt. Like, get a go backpack. Don't even pack all your just get a backpack and go. But see if the Red River will quell his passion to sail.
Beautiful.
Wow. Let's read some comments.
Okay. Also, I will say one other thing, like, this fetish of your boyfriend's has, if he is working with a sex worker, like, that has HIV and AIDS and, like, other transmittable things written all over it, so, like, be careful. I think you should just dip, but...
That's my opinion!
Alright, so let's get into some comments. This comment is from Cat is Back, That's a Fact, and they say, he's been perfect with you because he's never had to go without before, and this is what he's like without it. It sucks, but he's showing you that his fetish is more important than you. This has been present since the beginning of your relationship. He told you straight up when you met in hopes of getting you to do it. The fact that he's trying to force it in you is an alarming red flag. I'd be wary of having sex with anyone who tries to sneak in something they know I hate. That's a form of rape or at least sexual assault. He knows better. Mm-hmm. He's not confused. He just thinks he can do it and you'll get over it even if you hate it. Or hey, in the heat of the moment, she'll just let it happen. It's disgusting. Yeah, and I agree with that too, and I think it's reflective on how this fetish, like, not all fetishes are necessarily okay fetishes, and this is one that's very much rooted in control and lack of respect for women, and the fact that your boyfriend is showing this to you by crossing your boundaries is not okay, and I think you need to leave. Also, OP responded to this comment, saying, I didn't see it like that at first, but you're right. When it happened, I felt so betrayed and second to his needs. It's like he wasn't thinking about me at all. It's a lot to process.
The thing that the Cat is Back, That's a Fact touched on, it's showing who he really is. Like, that is such a good way to put it. I operate under the philosophy that, like, when someone's put under stress, like, that is their real self. Like, I was a pre-orientation leader at my school, and we would do little tests, and, like, you see kids that just, like, completely check out when you put them under some stress or put them under some pressure. You see kids who step up and they're like, I want to do the best I can, and they have no idea what to do, but their intention is there. And you also see people who will just absolutely intentionally screw everything up, and just because they think it's funny and it'll entertain them. And those people are typically selfish people, and as I would see those people grow up in college,
and dangerous.
And as I would see those people grow up in college, it would be like, wow, that person is not just a lost soul, or upset that they're at college, or upset that they're doing a pre-orientation activity. They're just a bad person. They think being a troll is a way of life, and that makes them better or whatever because they're above people, and they're typically very selfish. And that's a hard thing to come to terms with, and, like, that's just coming from a freaking orientation advisor. Like, when that's somebody you've been with for 3 years, yeah, that's a lot to process, to see another side of that person and see that side that you got to push off to the side. Now that it's in your face, you don't like it. and that's fair, and you should, and that does mean a lot. The 3 years are a long time, yes, but the fact that it is a harmful fetish, and it is an attempt to cause harm on you, and you're not giving consent, and he's still pressuring you.
This ain't it, Chief. That's what I would have told you.
Certified not it.
Yeah.
Not okay. Not okay. It wouldn't matter if you were with him for 10 years or however long. This is not okay. You deserve to have your boundaries respected. We all do. Everybody deserves to have their boundaries respected, and especially your body. Yeah.
You slash Malala. You Malala. You Milala. They say he isn't just pressuring you, he physically attempted it while you were intimate despite you having told him not. How can you trust him again? And OP responded, I don't think I can trust him, which hurts. I've got a lot to think about. And I think that's a great way to end it, because I hope that this is showing people that OP, at the very least, is aware that this is not a good situation for her. And I hope that is something that can provide y'all solace, because this is objectively the most alarming one we've done.
Yeah.
I would say 4 episodes in, this is the first one that has like made me actually concerned about this person.
Yeah. And this isn't even about like shaming fetishes or anything at this point. Like, this is just genuinely about a human being's safety and well-being. I know this might not be a situation everyone can relate to specifically, but if you are still listening at this point, like, you have a right to autonomy over your own body. Just because you're dating someone does not give them autonomy over your body. And if you are with someone, it doesn't matter how long you've been together, and they do not respect your physical, emotional, mental boundaries, like, get out of there. Run for the hills. Don't even pack your shit, just go.
And that's, I think we could put the official advice stamp on that.
All right. Woo.
Get out. Sorry, man. Okay. Get out!
All right. Can we do a cleansing breath?
Yes. There is no user-submitted comment this week, but in lieu of not having a user-submitted advice, and due to the fact that we did just have our first genuinely distressing topic, we should all take a collective breath together.
All right, Rob. I'll count it. We're going to inhale for 4 counts through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth for 4 counts as well. And when you're exhaling through the mouth, we're going to do something called lion's breath. And you're going to open your mouth wide, stick your tongue out, and just All right, Rafi's gonna breathe, and I will count us through it. All right, let's take a moment. Ready? Inhale.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, lion's breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it all out. Let it out.
Yes.
All right.
All right. We're back, centered. Shouts out to Yoga with Adrian.
Yeah, she taught us that one.
If you know, you know. We'll keep it exclusive. It's kind of like a low-key club we're in right now. In the middle of the 30-day challenge. No big deal. 3 weeks in. Not to flex, but just to flex. Like,
do some yoga, yo.
Facts. Do some yoga. Get centered. Mind, body, and spirit. Important.
Also, if y'all submit us a user question for next week, you're going to get a fun new soundbite that we're going to use to introduce it. So, like,
y'all want the soundbite or not?
Do it for the soundbite. And we also have the anonymous link in our bio now, so feel free to hit us on the Survey Monkey. All right. You ready to get into the next one?
I'm ready to get into the next one.
This was posted by u/annoyed01. And they say, my 20-year-old female boyfriend, 27-year-old male, keeps trying to have sex with me in public. Oof. Alright. She says, we've been in a relationship for 3 years, but his obsession with public sex started last year. He tries to seduce me and feel me up in random places like the movie theater, in McDonald's, in the grocery store. He literally asked me to go around the back of the building to have sex, even when we go for walks. I have to keep telling him to stop because I don't want to do it in public places. Call me boring, but it just seems trashy, and to my knowledge, it's not legal. He's like, there's not even many people around because of COVID, which isn't true. My country is living pretty normally as we have it controlled. I don't get why he wants to do the nasty in public. We have sex nearly every day. It's not like I'm deriving him of it. Depriving. No, it's okay.
Stupid.
I'm contemplating just giving in and doing it. I don't know though, because I'm not comfortable with the idea of it. Help! Alright, this boy's also about consent, but a lot more lighthearted.
A lot more lighthearted, and I'm also... Cancel me for this if you find this wrong. But what I say,
Please don't
I
cancel us
feel.
for this if you find
You
this
can
wrong.
cancel me. Let's get a Rafi is canceled party trending. If this is cancel worthy. But if you have been in a relationship for 3 years, that means you were 17 when you got into a relationship with a 24-year-old.
Okay, let's not point. I wasn't gonna go there, but
I'm going there because I strongly feel that man is a piece of gotta say it. As a 23-year-old man, the thought of me dating a 17-year-old is the thought of me having a conversation with a 17-year-old is distressing. And like, as somebody who at one point was 17 and knew 17-year-olds, and I'm now 23, unacceptable.
okay.
And it's messed up. And like, times were different.
I mean, they're also European from the sounds of it, so like, laws do be different. So like, it doesn't necessarily make it illegal, and
You're
also
right.
like, I don't. They've been dating for 3 years. Like, I think we need to just put judgments aside and just acknowledge that yes, maybe power dynamics are at play in this relationship, but we're not here to judge. We are here to advise.
And I'ma advise, if she's saying things like I'm contemplating just giving in and doing it, that power dynamics are absolutely at play.
Yeah.
And that is certified whack, yo. That is whack. I do not support this man in the slightest.
But we have to support OP.
And I do support OP.
I don't support this man either. Like, it's wrong. He's trying to pressure her into things that she's saying she is clearly uncomfortable with.
Yeah, like, y'all, if you learn one thing from ever listening to this podcast, it needs to be this. And I need everyone to listen closely, especially guys, because we're the ones who tend to struggle with this most, though some ladies also struggle with this. And if you're a gender in between, you may also struggle with this, because we don't discriminate here on this podcast. But this word is bond, okay? You hear me? You ready for this nugget of wisdom?
This is a nugget. There's mad sirens that just drove by outside. It's been silent, so like, get ready for the certified Rafi guarantee facts.
Rafi guaranteed facts. Like, this isn't just a nugget, this is a chicken tender of wisdom. This is something you could put on your gravestone and people would respect you for centuries to come. And it's simple. It's 3 words. Consent is sexy.
Ooh la la.
3 words. 3 words.
Ooh la la.
Now, I know. It's like, yeah, Rafi, of course, you want consent. No. You don't just want consent, you need consent. A sexual experience is not a sexual experience without consent, as a matter of fact. It is assault.
Could you demonstrate for us let's exemplify some sexy consent, because people, what does that sound like, Rafi?
Yo, baby, you looking kind of fine. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I see you through that camera, and like, I wish I could just like be all of with you, cuddle in bed with you maybe, and like maybe we could go a little further if you feel so inclined. Like,
Oh, I may just feel so inclined. I kind of like what you're putting down.
where do you like what I'm putting down? Okay, we can link later. You know, I'll hit you up. Don't worry, mom. Like, you know, like it, and that's the thing. You want like things to just be in the heat of the moment, but it's never a bad thing to ask. And most importantly, it is necessary to ask. You need consent. Period. End of story. Nothing. That's where this ends. Yeah, and seeing that this episode seems to be a theme of people not asking for consent. That's why these people are certified whack. You need consent. It's not sexy if it's not consent. It's assault. Remember that. Remember that. Put that on my gravestone if you need to. Word is bond.
Get a revival, baby. King of the burbs.
John Brown approves this advice. You know what I'm saying? Is sexy, but you know that's some if you know stuff. Like if you left out, you left out, and that's how it be. But now you know, and like if you don't want to know, then you can get out. But like if you want to know, now you know, and so now keep that with you. And if you don't want to know, I hope you go to prison. And I want all prisons to be abolished. So like, take that as you will.
Hallelujah, holla back, little homie.
Alrighty.
I feel like the people know how we stand on this post already. Like, yes,
Yeah.
that was a non sequitur, but like it also was entirely a sequitur.
It's pretty cut and dried. Consent is necessary and sexy. Let's get into the comments though. So this is in response to the line, "I'm contemplating just giving in and doing it. I don't know though because I'm not comfortable with the idea of it." And Let Us Be Grateful says, "Do not give in. Trust your gut here. You know that you don't want to engage in this particular sexual activity. That's your truth. Stick to it." There's a deeper issue here where he isn't respecting some pretty clear boundaries that you've been setting up. It would be bad enough if he kept trying to convince you with words, but he's even touching you to try to change your mind. He simply has to respect your feelings on this. This isn't the sort of thing you should do out of obligation. Yes. Yes.
Say less.
Say less.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be very difficult to find a consensus in the comments on this.
I feel like this one's pretty short and sweet.
I mean, and like not to harp on the point, but u/often wrongs says, there's a reason a 24-year-old goes for a 17-year-old. And like, not saying that's tea.
Yeah, a lot of people are addressing that. Maybe Rafi was right and I was trying to be a little bit too PC, what's the word? Trying to be a little bit too JC here.
JC.
Jesus, don't judge. It's that lion's breath got me resetting. But plenty of fizziness in the Z says as well, a lot of people are commenting on the age gap. He started a relationship with you when you were 17. He doesn't take no for an answer. He tries to manipulate you by calling you boring. He tries again and again. This guy was probably looking for someone young and pliable. Now that you've malfunctioned and are standing up for yourself, he'll have to dump you and get another young one. Do you honestly think once you've agreed once that he's going to be satisfied and stop? This is really weird that he keeps going on about it. It's not your thing. He doesn't treat you like an equal who doesn't want to do that because he doesn't consider you an equal. He got you young so you wouldn't have any relationship norms and he could easily manipulate you.
And that's the T, my G.
Hallelujah, holla back.
Alright, I'm gonna elaborate on my point because I feel like I just kind of came at people when I know that older generation.
Yeah, I'll let you pop, please.
Yeah, because like I know older generations. You had some people who she was 17, he was like 26, and like they get together. Weird, like, but that was like like in the 70s, 80s, like it was kangaroo court. And like now in an age where like everybody's woke.
And wait, can we just say not even that far, but when women have agency?
Yeah. Yeah. Like yeah. There's been a lot of progress made then, and there's been a lot of just general studies done, and more importantly, there's just been a cultural consensus that like yeah, that's a little weird. And that's what makes this so different, is because like in our time we're coming up with the awareness that that is weird. And just because he's 27 doesn't mean he's past that time. If you're in your 40s, that's a different statement. But bro, you're 27. You grew up with us. If you had YouTube when you were in high school, then yeah, no, you know better. And it's that simple. Like you know better, and you're a 27. You were a 24-year-old man who went after a 17-year-old. You're a creep. You're a creep.
Yeah.
And that's no shade. It's just a fact.
And he's, in reference to OP, like, he's not going to respect your boundaries.
Yeah.
Also, like, good point. Just because you've given once, that's just going to make him want to do it more and more. So I would say, please, once again, get out.
Get the fuck out of here!
The theme of the episode was supposed to be, like, sexy time, but it just turned into get the hell out. Y'all.
Seriously.
Like,
we shouldn't be the ones having to bring the sex to these forums. Like, I don't know. Should we just, like, do another consent is sexy for y'all? That might be a little bit much. You know, we'll do that after the fall.
Yeah. Y'all heard it once. Y'all need another one. But if you do, our OnlyFans page is...
Send us a comment. Should we start an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Or a Patreon?
Should we do a Patreon where we do ASMR videos?
About consent.
About consent. Hell
Consensual ASMR. Ooh.
Why is it spicy?
Yeah, and do you wanna give the certified advice?
Certified advice. Once again, get the hell out. Get you a man who respects you. Get you a man who sees you as their equal, and more importantly, get you a man who lives by the motto consent is sexy, because I'm not the only one. I didn't come up with this.
Yeah,
this was passed
this
down.
one's taken. Sorry guys.
This was passed down to me by my elders, and I am giving you this advice, both OP and the listeners. I'm giving you the advice. Consent is sexy. And not only is it sexy, it's necessary. Live by that.
Yes.
I'll get that tatted on my chest if y'all want me to.
Yes.
I stand by that. But, yeah. Official advice. Get out of there.
Get out of there.
So,
So?
this episode was definitely a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot.
Definitely
Sorry
a lot.
it wasn't as, fun, I guess, as maybe y'all were expecting. Hopefully next week the internet will... I don't know, January is rough for people, I feel like. You know, once we get around Valentine's Day, that's when things will...
Oh yeah, the Valentine's Day episode.
Spaz.
Y'all ain't ready. But, yeah, another week. Episode 4.
Yes, episode 4. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram at the Lurkers Podcast. Let us know what you thought. Suggest posts for next time. You can DM us any questions that you want to submit for our user question of the week, or go in the show notes for our Survey Monkey where you can submit anonymously. And yeah, have a good week.
Yes. Should we do the outro?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we gotta get it right every single time. we botch it. First try this time.
All
right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. Have a good week. You
Have a
Lurkin'
great week, you Lurkin' Larrys. See you next
Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, I botched it at the end.
All right.
We might be able to make it work though. We might be able to make it work.
And have a great week.
What did I say?
Good.
Oh.
We gotta go from good to
We
great.
do have to go from good to great, because if you're listening to this podcast, if you listen this far, you are not just a good person, you're a great person, and you deserve to have a great week. You looking Larry. So we're gonna do the outro right this time.
Okay. 3, 2.
Have a great week, you lurking Larrys. See you next Sunday. Thank you for tuning into Lurkers.
The number 1
and only
r/relationship advice podcast.